Hello, my college. Welcome in the weekly podcast. I am Ali Al-Shammari, compliance specialist and certified forensic examiner economic crime from National White Collar Crime Center. Thank you for joining in the podcast. Every organization and every industry and profession must deal with compliance. In fact, even people in their personal life deal with compliance in one form or another. Some on a daily basis and some on a more formal setting. Since risk is essential part of compliance, I will give it to you next time the top types on how to improve risk management. So we will spend some time together to be strong against operation risk. Follow me. Where is this? Operational risks are these arising from people, processes, and systems. The biggest form of exposure from many industries, but one that was neglected financial firms until the collapse of Burns Bank in 1995. It was added to the Basel Capital Framework in 2004, but attempts to model operational risk were dealt of heavy blow by the huge unforeseen losses suffered by banks in the aftermath of the financial crisis. Biggest operational risk. A global C-level survey identified the biggest operational risk facing companies and many of the biggest concerns related to compliance. Pandemic-related policy and regulation on business performance, complying with the data privacy laws, inability to deal with the cyber threats, regulatory change and scrutiny on operational resilience, products and services. This, according to article by Lan Callister on 17 of August 2022. The other major concern all fall under the panel of external forces. Whilst you might struggle to control this, you can certainly mitigate it against them. Economic conditions, pandemic-related market conditions and demand, adoptions of new technology requiring and new skills in short supply, leadership, succession challenge, and the ability to attract and retain top talent, resistance to culture change might restrict to need to make necessary adjustment to the business model and core operation, inability to compete with born digital competitors. Risk management involves understanding and analyzing risk to ensure organizations meet their objectives in the corrupt world. So, how can you improve risk management in your company? Be clear about your remit. Any gaps in responsibility across your business present an increased opportunity for risk. Ensure that everyone knows exactly what part of the business and which activities and tasks they are responsible for. Number two, identify a risk early on. It is never too soon to start thinking about risk. The sooner you do this, the easier it will be to manage. the risk. Think about risk management at the start of every project or task. What early warning indicator can we track of different risks? You should embed risk management into your work processes and corporate culture. Number three, be positive. Not all risks are negative, so don't only focus on the downside. Risk can also be positive, presenting opportunity and enable us to take advantage of a given event or situation. Describe risk adaptability as part of the risk assessment process. Creating a risk string is good practice, distinguishing between case and effect. Estimate and prioritize risk. Use a risk matrix to assess and prioritize all known risk. You can collect the severity of risk by looking at both the priority, likelihood, and impact severity. Number six, take responsibility and ownership. If you see something is wrong, such as a potential safety issue and suspect fraud or security breaches, take responsibility rather than writing for someone else to sort the people out. Risk management work best when everyone is empowered to speak out and take action. Number seven, learn from past mistakes. Use historical data and anecdotes to learn from past mistakes and ensure they are never repeated. Use appropriate strategy to manage risk. Use the 40S model to decide how best to manage risk. This involves transfer, transferring risk, assign an individual and group or third party to be responsible for the risk. Tolerating risk, no action, is taking to mitigate or reduce risk. It still needs to be monitored. Fighting risk, controlling risk through actions that reduce the likelihood of the risk occurring, or minimum in impact before it is occurrence. Terminating risk, altering process or practice to eliminate risk. 9. Document all risks in risk register. By capturing all risk across the company, you will see the big picture of your entire risk exposure, improving your information sharing and accountability. Remember to document who is responsible for what and appoint a risk owner too. Keep monitoring and reviewing. The level of risk we face is continually change, with new risks emerging and others become less critical. Be being proactive and regulatory monitoring your exposure. You will be ready to act when the time comes. So it is important to have a risk management process in place. Part of that process requires risk management training, not just for management, but all employee staff need to learn how to recognize what constitutes risk so that they can contribute to risk management. Ultimately, I hope that this types added value to you, and I also wish everyone success. Thank you.